I put a central air system in my fish room. This week, I'm going to show you what I did and how I did it. That's coming up. Hey everyone, Steve Poland here, and over the last few weeks I've shown you some of the additions I've made to my basement fish room. I now have 2 55-gallon tanks, 6 40-gallon tanks, as well as various egg tumblers and breeder boxes. And who knows, I may add more in the future. So I definitely wanted a central air system because I was sick and tired of messing around with individual small air pumps. Fortunately, a few months ago, I bought a big air pump for next to nothing from a guy on Craigslist who just didn't need it anymore. It's a Laguna PT1620, and it's made for use in ponds. I'll link to it down in the description. There are some pros and cons to this pump. It moves a lot of air. Definitely more air than I need right now. And while I won't go so far as to say it'll be more air than I'll ever need, it's definitely enough to get me by, at least for a while. It also has a power cord that's 30 feet long, which is nice, but it is a diaphragm air pump, so it's pretty loud. Fortunately, my fish room is right next to my basement crawl space, so my hope was that if I mounted it in there, then the noise in the actual fish room would be minimal. Other than that, I didn't plan to do anything out of the ordinary for this system. Fortunately, many people before me have done this, so I had a lot of inspiration. All I knew is that I wanted to run 1/2-inch PVC around the room with air nozzles above each tank. Let's take a look at what I did. This is the pump on a shelf in the crawl space. I made the shelf from some scraps of MDF that I had on hand. It's not pretty, but it really doesn't need to be. I put a scrap piece of styrofoam in between the shelf and the wall and mounted it with Tapcon screws. There's a piece of foam underneath the pump to try and minimize the vibration. I connected the pump to the PVC, which runs over the wall and into the fish room. The nozzles I bought were a mistake. I should have gotten them from Jehmco, but I ordered them from Amazon instead, and they aren't the kind that you can tap and screw in. Fortunately, I drilled holes and pushed them in and they don't leak any air, but I'd love to have a do-over on that one. The brackets that I used to hold the PVC can be found at any hardware store. They just nail into my joists. They're not heavy duty, but the PVC is pretty light with just air running through it. At the end of the run are 2 extra components, a ball valve and a silencer. This allows me to bleed extra air out of the system if needed, and in a way that doesn't cause any whooshing air noise. Judy has a great video about this, which I highly recommend you watch if you're installing an air system. I'll link to it in the description. This system has been working great so far. I have plenty of air without any noticeable noise. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments, and if this is your first time here at Steve Poland Cichlids, I'd love to have you subscribe, because each week I bring you a new video sharing my experiences in the aquarium hobby. I give updates on my tanks, review products, show you DIY projects, and share tips and tricks to help you take your aquarium to the next level. Hit that subscribe button to follow along. Thanks and have a good one!